Josh Adams.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here we go, career starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 9 of the Goat Locker Racing Premier Cup Series, presented by our title sponsors Cruisin Classics and Nasty's Bar and Grill. Tonight, the drivers of GLR head to Pennsylvania to take on the tricky triangle Pocono Raceway for our second Dash for Cash race of the season. We've got 5 drivers going for the cash prize tonight, and a host of others looking to put their name in the winners column. So we have just 2 races left before the playoffs start. Lots of drivers fighting for a spot in those playoffs. Lots of ground to be gained and lost. We're going to be bringing you all the action right here on V-Speed. Thank you for spending your Wednesday evening with us. My name is Daniel Cunningham. Running double duty tonight up here in the broadcast booth and the production truck, somehow 2 different places at once. Lucas Lyons, and as always, we've got those camera angles courtesy of Dougie Beard. Lucas, thanks for stepping in, filling the co-commentary role here this evening. Good to have you back up here in the booth. It's not often we give you microphone privileges over here in Goat Locker, but thanks for stepping up, helping out with that. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, not too bad, and it's pretty rare I get to come up to the booth and commentate with you or whoever it may be. So I'm looking to have a good race tonight here at Pocono. There's a huge debate going on, Daniel. I'll go ahead and ask you this since we got a little bit of time. Does Pocono have 3 corners, 5 corners, or 6 turns?
Depending on who you get up here, I can tell you right now, ain't nobody going to say it's got 2. I don't know where you came up with that number from. But, depending on if you get Chuck Phelps up here, he's going to tell you it's got 6. I'm never going to contradict Chuck. I'm going with it's got 6. But you're right. It's always something that seems to pop up in the Discord chats whenever we head here to Pocono Raceway. But, we are on tap for a good one here this evening, closing in on the end of our regular season, our 10-race regular season here to set that playoff field of 12 drivers. let's take a quick look at our point standings entering into the race tonight. You can see up there in green, Jeremy Gardner, Cody McElwain, Timothy Wilms, all locked in with a win. Ryan Pendleton does have a win. You see his name highlighted in red there. Reason his name is in red is because the requirement to be locked into the playoffs by a win is making 7 of the 10 regular season races. Ryan Pendleton is locked in so long as he starts tonight and next week at Dover. So if he misses one of those 2 races, it will free up another spot for another driver to lock in on points. You see Tyler Justice, James Silvers, Jake Ellingson, Dylan Canova, and Jamie Libke, all with a double-digit point lead to that cutoff line. But from there on back, you've got Patrick Drabick in 10th, 9 points above the cut line. George Jewell, James Kaufman, I think those numbers might have got flipped around a little bit there with their gaps. 7 and 5 to the cut. And then you've got Brian Provo, Cody Anderson, Jamie Barkis, and Alex Cruz all within 10 points as well. The driver's a little bit further back the deck, probably going to need a little bit of help or try to lock in by way of that win that we just were talking about. But running out of opportunities to do so. See Timothy Wilms a couple weeks ago, got his win on the season, was able to stretch the fuel mileage, make that happen at Darlington. And let's go ahead and take a look as well at our remaining schedule for the rest of the season. Here at Pocono tonight, back at an oval or triangle or whatever you want to call it, we're not making any right turns. That's the important part here for this evening. Next week, heading to Dover for the regular season finale. I mean, talk about 2 completely different animals for the last 2 races of the regular season. And we got Charlotte and Bristol in that round of 12, Michigan and Phoenix for the round of 8. And then we're going to crown a champion at probably the best track for the next gens, Kansas Speedway. And, you know, Lucas, it doesn't seem like it's been all that long since we started it. And here we are halfway through the season already talking about playoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely went by pretty fast. And if you're the drivers fighting for that cut line from like all the way from 10th all the way to 16th, you only got either tonight or next week to get into the round of 12 with the first race being at Charlotte, like you said, Daniel. But tonight we are here at Pocono, so let's take a quick look at our track map. Pocono opened March 1st of 1969 in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's a 2.5 mile triangle. It's got 14 degrees of banking, which is based off of the Speedway Trenton. And then in turn 2, it's got 8 degrees based off of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then 3 degrees of banking in turn 3 based off of Milwaukee. So 3 different tracks here, 3 different sets of corners. That's why they call it the Tricky Triangle here at Pocono. And doing a quick look at our race analysis right before qualifying is over. Race lengths, 40 laps. Pit road speed, 55 miles an hour. Drivers will have 3 sets of tires available. 2 green, white checkers. 100% fuel, which from what we heard from the drivers is about 33 to 36 laps here tonight.
Yeah, definitely interesting with that fuel run being so close to the total race length. If we get an early caution, may see some drivers opt to come down pit road, top off those fuel tanks, see if they can maybe pull another strategy play, as we saw a few weeks ago with Timothy Wilms getting that win at Darlington. But folks, these drivers have completed their qualifying laps, and it is time to hand out our Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Jam Printing and Promotions, since forming in 2013, has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. Local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. Starting on that Jam Printing and Promotions poll this evening, it's Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner trying to end those second place runs, see if he can come home in P1 here this evening. Also one of our Dash for Cash drivers, something to keep an eye on as we go throughout the night here. Ryan Pendleton starting to his outside in that number 2 position. You got Jake Ellingson and James Silvers will make up row number 2, starting in the 3rd and 4th position. Patrick Drabick, Cody Anderson, two more of our Dash for Cash drivers making up the 5th and 6th positions here this evening. Starting in 7th is going to be Timothy Wilms in the 86 with George Jewell in the 36, rolling off in 8th. Rounded out the top 10, Dylan Canova, another one of our Dash for Cash drivers with Tyler Justice rounding out that top 10.
And starting right outside of the top 10, you got the 25 of James Kaufman starting at the 11th position. And the 15 of Jamie Barkus starting at 12th. Starting in 13th position, you have the 16 of Jamie Lipke and the 7 of Charles Abert starting in the 14th position. Starting 15th, you have Corinne Smith in the 10, and starting to her outside, the 6 of Cody McElwain starting in 16th. In the 17th position, you have the 64 of Matt Knights and the 75 of Chuck Pegleg Belt starting in the 18th position. Rounding our top 20, you have Stub Nation in the 92 starting in 19th, and the 42 of Bobby Germain starting in the 20th position.
Starting just outside the top 20, you've got Tyler Evans in 21st, Claire Sisk starting in 22nd. Rounded out the field here this evening is going to be Logan Sturgeon in 23rd, Jacob Linke rounded out the field in 24th. And that is going to do it for the field here this evening as they are rolling off of pit road, getting ready to get this race fired off. Lucas, we've got a little bit longer pace lap, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you, at the risk of us screwing over one of the drivers in the field, who's your pick to win tonight? Who you got?
Well, it might be a little bit biased because I had the chance to actually meet him at Martinsville, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner, starting on pole position here tonight. Bought me a French fry at Martinsville, and I gladly accepted that. If you're in Go Walker, you kind of know what I'm talking about with that. But he shows a great amount of long run speed, and I expect no different here tonight from the 57 of Jeremy Gardner.
Well, you stole my pick, so screw it. I'll go with somebody else. I'm going to go with the 07 of Patrick Drabick. I picked him back over the summer when we were calling the IndyCar races here. I knocked his internet out with the broadcaster curse, his power out too, I think, before they even took the grid. Give me Patrick Drabick in that 07 for the redemption shot tonight. And we'll see if they can avoid the broadcaster curse from either one of us, both of us. But that being said, these drivers are coming into the restart zone. Pace car is off. Green flag is in the air. Jeremy Gardner leads them down into turn number 1, down the front straightaway here. Ryan Pendleton to his outside, and we are underway at Pocono. Through turn number 1, almost said through turns 1 and 2. Chuck Phelps would have been proud of me there. Heading through turn number 2 now, the tunnel turn. Jeremy Gardner out to the early lead here over Ryan Pendleton. Little bit of contact further back, car sliding. That's the 7 of Charles Abert. He is into the inside wall, still rolling though off the racing surface. We stay under the green flag. But that was a big hit to the inside wall for the number 7 of Charles Abert. Didn't quite catch what happened to him. May have to go back and try to grab a replay of that and see what exactly happened to him. But for now, out front, it's all Jeremy Gardner. Let's take a look at the V-Speed instant replay here. Going through the tunnel turn, and just a little bit of contact there with Cody McElwain. And around goes the 7, noses it into the inside wall. Pretty decent hit there as well for Charles Abert.
Yeah, it just looked like Cody got a little bit too deep on the first lap going into turn 2. And just unintentional contact between the two of them as the battle for second is on between Ryan Pendleton and Jake Ellingson for P2. And your pick, Patrick Drabick.
Caution is out. Caution is out on the speedway. Sorry to cut you off there, Lucas. The 6 of Cody McElwain nose first into the inside wall. Big damage for him. That is one of our Dash for Cash drivers. Go back and take a look here on the instant replay to see what happened. He's behind Corinne Smith going through the tunnel turn. And wow, that is super strange. That is not something that we would normally see out of a driver like Cody McElwain. Looked like he just got loose all by himself down there on the bottom. Yeah, that is really, really peculiar. I can't even begin to explain that one.
Yeah, I also can't, because that's just so strange. It looked like the weight shifted from his right rear to his left rear when he tried to turn back, and it just upset the rear end. I honestly don't know what to say, Daniel.
Yeah, it's just such a weird spot, too, because it didn't really start to break loose on him. The only thing I can think is maybe he tried to pull it down just a little bit to stay off of the 10 of Corinne Smith, not knowing if maybe she was a little bit tighter to his outside or what the case was, and it just upset the balance of that car just enough to loop it around. But that's really not a place that you would normally expect to see the cars getting loose on their own. So yeah, really unfortunate, especially for one of our Dash for Cash drivers, but that is going to put us under an early caution here. And this was something we kind of touched on a little bit in the pre-race when you were going through the race analysis. 33 to 36 laps is what we were estimating on a fuel run. So now, does anybody come down pit road? And it looks like closer to the back of the pack, you do have quite a few takers. See James Silvers and Cody Anderson, the first two that are going to take advantage of this. And after that, it looks like pretty much the entire field going to follow them down pit road to go ahead and top off with fuel. And if it does go green to the end, this could play right into their hands.
Yeah, it definitely could, with the only Jeremy Gardner, Jake Ellingson, Ryan Pendleton, Patrick Drabick, and Dylan Canova, the top 5, staying out. So if I'm one of those 5 drivers, I'd probably be a little bit nervous on if this race goes green. What is your plan to have enough fuel to make it to the end? Because with our calculations that we've got from the drivers, they're going to be able to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. This would put them right on the outer edge of that range to make it to the end on fuel. And if there's one thing that I can say for sure, it's that Cody Anderson, if he's coming down pit road now and filling up, that driver specifically, I talked about it at Darlington, that he's always thinking ahead on pitch strategy. And Lucas, you and I both know this from racing against him in other series. He's always thinking about those pitch strategies. If he's coming down here, he's got to be pretty confident that he can make it, even if he's got to save just a little bit under this caution. But yeah, early caution here, mixing up the strategies a little bit. So while we have just a moment here, let's go ahead and thank one of our great sponsors that we've got here at Goat Locker, and that's going to be the title sponsor of our series here this evening, Cruisin Classics. Definitely want to give them a shout out. They are located in Columbus, Ohio. They have a beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There's something for everybody out of their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. So come down and visit their facility and check out their website at cruisinclassicsinc.com. We appreciate their support and everything they do here for Goat Locker.
Yeah, definitely a huge help, no matter how big or small a sponsor is. We admire them with open arms, and we appreciate every single one of our sponsors over here at Goat Locker.
Taking a look out there in the YouTube live chat this evening, talking about the fuel strategy. Samuel Yosef out there saying, well, after Darlington, we know someone can make it. And he's 100% right, because when we watched that race at Darlington, it may have surprised Jake Reeves just a little bit that someone was able to make it. But I'll tell you what, it didn't surprise me in the slightest that somebody stretched it. I'm a big fan of, if you're not going to beat them on speed, sometimes you got to try to outsmart them.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And it's like we said, race after race over here at Goat Locker, Cody Anderson is not scared to make those plays. And Cody Anderson almost had it before he ran out of gas in turns 1 and 2, and Timothy Wilms saved just enough to get all the way back around on the white flag to take that checkered flag. So it's definitely doable, and at Pocono, it is kind of hard to save fuel in the next gen because you actually do have to shift here. So maybe if you don't shift, you can save a little bit more fuel.
Yeah, definitely going to be something worth keeping an eye on. But one thing that I noticed throughout practice watching these drivers, it seemed like there were a lot of people, especially in dirty air, that were getting loose on corner exits. So the odds that we're going to go caution-free, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but these drivers have shown why they are in the Premier Series in previous weeks and have shown that they are capable of going flag-to-flag green. So definitely not out of the equation, but we're getting ready to fire him back off again. Field in control of that 57 of Jeremy Gardner. He gets a really good launch. He's going to be clear for the lead before they even get to the start-finish line. But Patrick Drabick giving a really nice shove to Jake Ellingson up there on the high line. Might be able to mount a charge back as they head down into turn 1.
Yeah, both Jake Ellingson and Patrick Drabick teammates, and both competing for the Dash for Cash this week. So going to be really interested to see how it plays out later on in the run. But a little bit further back, you got Pendleton side by side with Canova trying to get in position on Patrick Drabick going inside of turn 2.
Yeah, the battle is on back here for about third place on back. Dylan Canova, another one of those Dash for Cash drivers. He has now worked his way up into that number 4 position. Back here, there's just an absolute gaggle. You see Tyler Justice, Stub Nation, you got Logan Sturgeon, Tyler Evans, all of these drivers fighting for position, trying to find their way up to the front. All of these are drivers that did come down pit road as there was almost contact between Tyler Justice and Stubblefield there off of turn number 3. Really close moment, but everybody keeps it clean back into 1.
Yeah, it's like you said, really close moment. Just Timothy got a little bit tight coming out of turn 3. Almost got in the wall, and Tyler Justice also got tight, but they're still side by side with Barbecue Man of Logan Sturgeon pushing Tyler Justice heading into turn 2.
And 2 teammates there working together down I was getting ready to say down the back straightaway. We'll call this the middle straightaway, the second straightaway. And you can even see it right there out of the 33 of Justice, just a little bit loose on the exit of the tunnel turn. Just not quite able to get the power down. Pretty similar spot to where we saw McElwain have his issue. So maybe just something with the handling of these cars, not really liking that transition off the banking, or maybe just a little bit of a balance shift off of turn number 2, but something to keep an eye on as we go through the rest of the race here this evening.
Well, it was like even coming out of turn 2, the 4 of James Silvers got way loose and had to pull a tremendous save in front of Tyler Justice. I saw it out of the corner of my eye as they were coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. But right now, Jamie Bark is trying to get a position on the James Silvers.
And actually, I think, not to cut you off there, Lucas, but I think Patrick Drabick just had a moment as well. He was up there running in the top 5 and has now drifted all the way back to the 7th position. So possibly, I didn't quite see what maybe happened to him, but possibility that it's the same kind of issue that we've been seeing out of a few of these other drivers, just with that loose on exit. As you can see, Stubblefield did not avoid contact with the wall that time. He got into the wall pretty good there off of turn number 3. Just about got into Logan Sturgeon, but no contact between the 2 drivers.
Yeah, it seems like the handling is really, really loose, as you see Jake Linke get loose out turn 1, a big wreck on the back straightaway.
Oh, caution is out. We caught it right there at the back end of our screen with the camera shot. 77 of Tyler Evans involved. James Kaufman, you see there. There's Timothy Wilms. Trying to see, that's Claire Sisk as well in the 12. Caution is out for the second time here this evening. It looked like it kind of started up a little bit further with a checkup out of the 16 of Jamie Libke. And oh yeah, you can see there, Lenke gets loose on the bottom and just absolutely nowhere to go for Bobby Germain. He gets caught up in it. And again, just another instance of somebody getting loose off of corner exit, and just that time it takes a few other drivers with them.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about it with the handling. All of these race cars so far, riding on board with Jacob Lemke going through turn one. You see him get loose right in the middle, and he has to save it and just overcorrects it, gets up into the 77 of Tyler Evans, and just nowhere to go for Tyler.
Yeah, just really unfortunate there. Just a lot of drivers that got took out in that with just no fault of their own, just nowhere to go. And Jacob Lemke has had some pretty rotten luck this season himself as well. And, you know, once these cars start to get loose, there's really no saving them. I mean, you're almost better off, instead of trying to counter steer, to just cut it to the left, lock it down, and just hope that you don't nose into the wall. But yeah, just really unfortunate there. And I really didn't expect to see this out of these cars this evening, with just that loose on exit the way that we've been seeing. But definitely been a recurring theme of the evening so far. Just going to take one last look at this wreck with Cody McElwain. He had a pretty good view of everything happening in front of him and was able to snake his way through this wreck. So riding on board here, was caught up in that first incident of the race. And you can see everybody's just kind of all over the place, smoke everywhere. Does a really nice job of backing it down and able to weave his way through that wreck and avoid any more damage. So nice job out of one of our Dash for Cash drivers there to be able to avoid that.
Yeah, it might have saved his Dash for Cash chances here tonight. No, he got caught up in that incident earlier, like he said, but this caution is going to let him get some more of that damage fixed, as the top 5 came in, and now our new leader will be the 33 of Tyler Justice.
Yeah, Tyler Justice, one of those that came down pit road on that first caution. He's going to stay out here, utilize this to take advantage of the track position. Top 5 as they run: Tyler Justice, Logan Sturgeon, Jamie Libke, Chuck Pegleg Feltz, Corinne Smith. Chuck Feltz there running in the 4th position. He's got another one of our league sponsors on the car. I want to give them a quick shout out. That is Save 22 that he has on the hood of that number 75. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Their unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. And it's save22.vet, another one of our great sponsors and supporters. And even aside from that, just a great mission that they have, that they're all about. With what they do to support the veteran and first responder community.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So go on, head over to their Facebook and let them know that we sent you over here from Goat Locker Racing to show our love and support to one of our great league sponsors over here in Goat Locker.
Well, that caution comes at right about the quarter-way mark of the race. Going to reset the field a little bit here, just with these differing pit strategies that we've seen. So we mentioned that top 5. The rest of the drivers that stayed out, Charles Abert, as well as, or actually, no, I'm sorry. Charles Abert was the last driver that stayed out. Cody Anderson did come down pit road. Shorter stop for him, so maybe a 2-tire stop there for Cody Anderson. He's in 7th. Jeremy Gardner, Jake Ellingson, and Dylan Canova round out your top 10 as we get ready for the restart here. So definitely a mixed bag of strategy. The biggest thing that I'm going to be interested to see here as we get ready to go back green, you know, we saw Jeremy Gardner and Jake Ellingson were pretty much the class of the field out there running 1st and 2nd. How will they be able to work their way back through the field once this caution ends?
Yeah, that's definitely the question that should be asked, because we've seen most of the incidents happen in dirty air, and both Jeremy Gardner and Patrick Drabeck and Jake Ellingson, they haven't been in dirty air yet. So they're really going to have to find a way to get through all this dirty air safely to get back up to the front, or they might just try to save tires, let cars go by and just kind of play it safe and then push later on when they have fresher tires so they don't have to be in the dirty air as much. So there's definitely 2 ways to go about it. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye out on those drivers.
Yeah, definitely two different mindsets here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Two drivers that will have a DNF as a result of that last caution. It's going to be Claire Sisk in the 23rd position, Bobby Germain in 24th, the last two on the field. Too much damage to continue. Looked like both of them had meatballs after that incident. So unfortunate end to the night for both of them, but some new faces up here at the front. Ready to see how this plays out as we get ready to go back green, coming to lap number 13 here. And, so far, Lucas, knock on wood, neither one of us have completely cursed our picks for the win here this evening. But we're getting ready to go back green. Field in control of that 33 of Tyler Justice. Green flag is back in the air, back underway here at Pocono.
Yeah, as of right now, the 33 already has a 0.2 of a second lead, and the battle for second position between Logan Surgeon and Jamie Lipke is on. And Chuck Pegler Phelps running that middle lane, trying to get to the outside of the 16 coming out of turn one.
And a little bit further back, you can see Jeremy Gardner, now the highest running driver that did come down pit road on that last caution, trying to make a move on the 10 of Corinne Smith here, just not quite close enough, getting down into the tunnel turn. They thought about 3 wide for a second there with Anderson and Canova behind. They think better of it. Get it back down to at least 2 wide. That's hard enough through the tunnel turn, let alone thinking about 3 wide. So smart move there by the drivers here early on. But Jeremy Gardner there to the inside of the number 10. If you're somebody like Dylan Canova, who do you go with? I mean, personally, I would almost rather just try to push Corinne Smith past Jeremy Gardner, maybe see if I can follow around and then find my own way around.
Or you can do what I would personally do, is push Jeremy Gardner ahead of Corinne so you can see what Jeremy Gardner is doing a little bit different if you get clear of the 10. And try to get a little bit more speed if you decide that you need that. But as we were talking about it, Jeremy Gardner gets around the 10, now trying to find a way around Charles Aybert as they're now 3 wide inside of the total turn.
Oh, we just said that's not going to work, but they somehow get through there. All of them single file, or rather double file back down. Patrick Drabick tried to split the middle there, able to get through. But Cody Anderson was the big loser on that exchange, actually lost a couple of spots there. Jake Ellingson into the wall back behind this. He got loose off of turn 3, did not see if he had help or not. But big damage, big hit to the right front for that number 27 machine. And that, it looks like he's getting ready to pull it down off the track. It doesn't show that he has a meatball flag right now, but really substantial damage though. Really unfortunate for the 27, one of the faster cars that we had here this evening. And in that exchange also, Dylan Canova in the 70 was actually able to get ahead of Jeremy Gardner. So a new Dash for Cash leader here. That's the 70 of Canova. But, real quick, Lucas, going back to what you were saying when you said, well, you know what I would do? I was waiting for you to say, I'd say screw it and ship it 3 wide in there, not worry about pushing either one of them. And, that's ended up being what Patrick Drabick's mindset was. He's like, I'm just going to go 3 wide, see if I can get a 2 for 1 here.
Yeah, sometimes I can play it a little bit slower and just, if I know somebody's faster than me, let them by and try to learn. That's actually what I did with Jeremy Gardner at Kansas in the Xfinity series that we ran about 2 weeks ago now at this point. And it actually played out for, big wreck out of turn 1.
Multiple cars involved. Looked like Ryan Pendleton, Corinne Smith, believe that is the 4 of James Silvers, also caught up in this. Caution flag is out for the 3rd time here this evening. Let's go back and check the replay on this. I think we might see more of what we saw before with just these cars getting loose on exit. Let's take a look. This is the drivers heading down into turn number 1. See a big speed difference there. Corinne Smith closed right up on the back of the 7 of Aybert. And big wiggle out of the 4 car and just right up into Corinne Smith. Nowhere for her to go. Looked like George Jewell up there got a piece of that as well. And that is definitely more of what we've been seeing here. Riding on board with the 4 of Silvers. He makes his way down the front straightaway. looking at the shifting there. Saw that out of the 4 of silvers. As he heads back over into turn number 1. I mean, not really tucked up super tight on anybody either, but yeah, just a slight little wiggle. And when he goes to just counter steer ever so slightly, it just shoots back up the track into the 10 of Corinne Smith. And that's pretty much all she wrote from there.
Yeah, that's definitely heartbreak for all those drivers that got involved. But another thing, Daniel, is there's a bump coming out of turn 1, and that could have been what upset the 4 of James Silvers. Because it looks like he started to put counter steer right about where that bump is. So he tried to save it and just overcorrected, because it's like you said, these cars are just so hard to save with how aero sensitive it is. And you make one small adjustment and you do just a little bit too much, you're going around.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% correct. There is that bump over there that, I'll be honest, I forgot about because I suck at this track and I don't particularly ever have fun racing it. So I usually try to forget about this place as much as humanly possible. But here we go again, another round of pit stops and another round of split strategy. Tyler Justice, the race leader, comes down pit road here, and looks like Jeremy Gardner actually decides to stay out on this caution. So yet again, another set of split strategy. It's looking at the running order. Dylan Canova, Jeremy Gardner, Patrick Drabick, Cody Anderson, Jamie Barkis, Cody McElwain, and James Kaufman are your drivers that have decided to stay out. They're going to be the top 7 when this next restart. And from there, everybody else behind them, it looks like coming down pit road to take 4 tires and fuel here on this caution.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see how it plays out, because as of right now, it definitely seems like clean air is exactly what you need to basically keep the car underneath you. So bold strategy from the people who pitted, because you're in the fuel window to make it at this point. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Definitely an interesting strategy, because it does seem like the clean air is really the most important thing here this evening, but we'll see how it plays out for these guys. While we have another moment under this caution, just want to take an opportunity to thank another one of our great league sponsors, and that is Lincoln Tech. Lincoln Tech's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They're one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. They're a title sponsor here at Goat Locker and also one of our biggest partners. Again, we appreciate their support with everything that we do here.
Yeah, the primary sponsor of the IndyCar Series. I had the opportunity to finally run the IndyCar Series last night, and Daniel, I bet you can't guess what happened.
I'm going to guess that you should have been sponsored by Space Force, because that car probably saw some airtime.
You're 100% correct. Got loose on a turn 2 and hit the inside wall, and then I ended up getting stuck in my pit stall and wasn't able to use my fast repair. But definitely had a blast talking to Jeremy Gardner, Tyler Justice, and everybody on the Save 22 team, and thank them for letting me join in there as a producer, trying to do his best impersonation of being a race car driver.
Yeah, appreciate those guys babysitting you last night. They gave me a break after the weekend that we had at Martinsville, where I had to keep an eye on you. So their efforts are not in vain. We'll just go ahead and put it that way and leave it at that. But getting ready to go back green here for this next restart. It looks like our race leader here, Dylan Canova, electing to take the outside lane, something that we haven't really seen from anybody else here so far with any of the previous restarts that we've had. So must be something Canova likes about that upper middle groove, that he thinks that he can use that to keep his track position. Have to see how it plays out here for him, as we have got 4 of our Dash for Cash drivers in the top 4. Dylan Canova, Jeremy Gardner, Cody Anderson, and Patrick Drabick. And even despite that damage that he got on that first caution, Cody McElwain, our 5th Dash for Cash driver, restarting in the 6th position in row number 3. So all of these guys very much alive for that bonus that comes with being the highest finishing driver of that Dash for Cash. So another little wrinkle to keep an eye on here as we head through the rest of the race this evening. But for now, pace car is off. Green flag is going to be back in the air. Field in control of Dylan Canova, and he gets a good jump up on that high lane. But Jeremy Gardner, Patrick Drabick hooked up behind him. Good push coming from the 07. Have to see if they could get up there and mount a charge for the lead.
Yeah, and on that restart, I want to say the 15 of Jamie Marcus actually missed a shift, which caused a checkup in the back half of the field. But right now, looks like Cody Anderson is going to move up to the 2nd position, starting from 4th, already up 2 spots from where he restarted. Starting a single file out here for the first time, it seems like tonight, but the battle is on for 7th with the 36 of George Joel trying to run down the 26 of Logan Sturgeon.
Yeah, and this is right where that pit strategy broke at as well. Jamie Libke directly ahead of them, the first driver that did elect to come down pit road on that last caution. But Logan Sturgeon and George Jewell did come down pit road as well. As you can see, there was quite a few drivers that looked like they made some contact with the outside wall off of turn number 3. So I think you're onto something, Lucas. It really seems like the clean air is the most important factor when you start getting back in that dirty air. That the handling just gets unpredictable. You never know when it's going to snap loose on you or if it's just going to push tight or what the case is. So I like this pit strategy that our top 5 have right now of staying out, keeping that track position, and make the others find a way around it.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with what you said, Daniel, because that's where we've seen most of the looseness come from, is from further on back, around that 10th position on back is where we've really seen it, just because of how dirty the air is and how the air goes underneath the body panelists. Timothy Stubblefield just had a huge contact with the outside wall exiting turn 3, but the field is starting to single file out here for the first time tonight, so we'll have to see if that looseness decides to stay into play here or if it's just the cold tires, because, Daniel, we haven't ran a lot of green flag laps here this evening so far, so it definitely could be a mixture of both the aerodynamics and the tire temperature.
Yeah, I think about 5-6 laps is really the longest green run that we have had so far this evening. So you're 100% correct. We haven't really gotten the opportunity to get into a longer run, get a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of pace going here to this race. So that's something I'm going to be curious to see, is if maybe the handling does improve a little bit with some tire temps coming up, or what the case may be. But one driver that we want to give a quick shout out to, looking there in the 7th position, that 26 of Logan Sturgeon, currently the biggest mover up from where he started at from the beginning of this race. Logan up 16 spots from starting 23rd on the grid. So really strong run for him so far. And even just 2 positions back from him, Jacob Lenke in that 37, despite being involved in one of our earlier cautions, he's actually up 15 spots from where he started. He was back there on the back row with Logan to start off with. So even though we're saying it's hard to pass, it's hard to make things happen, these 2 drivers finding a way to work their way up through the field, whether it's on track, whether it's pitch strategies, what have you, showing that you do have ways to find your way up to the front here.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Dino, because I was literally just about to say whether it's on track or on pit road. But one person who's in a rhythm so far tonight is that 70 of Dylan Canova, already out to a 1.2 second lead over the 20 of Cody Anderson, who has the 57 of Jeremy Gardner hot on his trail. So we'll have to see if Dylan is just trying to get as big of a lead as he can right now, or if Cody Anderson and everyone behind him are saving tires to end up catching Canova later on. So kind of a double-edged sword of 2 strategies coming into play here.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, and that was you actually took my next talking point there. So something that we've seen out of Canova a few times this season, he definitely has speed. He's able to fire off really quick. He's able to put down some really fast laps, but it does seem like over the course of a run, we even kind of saw it at Darlington last week, that Jeremy Gardner was just a little bit faster the longer that we got into the run. So something that we'll have to see, of course, different racetrack, different abrasiveness with the surface. So something we'll have to keep an eye on here is a little bit further back. We've got a pass for position. George Jewell in that number 36, trying to get around the 37 of Jacob Lenke. He's going to be able to do so and clear up to the number 8 position as they head through turn number 2. And Lenke with a big wiggle back behind him. That's going to put the 15, of Jamie Barkis right up near his back bumper. Barkis trying to find a way back up there after, as you mentioned, that missed shift that he had earlier. Jamie Barkis also rocking one of the league sponsors here with Goat Locker. That is Glove Station that he is sporting on his car this evening. And at Glove Station, they're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, they got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And that is Glove Station. You can see he is wearing out right now the back bumper of that 37, trying to find a way around. And just as we mentioned that, Cody Anderson was running second just a few short laps ago. He is back to the 8th position. See if we've got a replay here, although I have a feeling it might be fitting a theme that we have seen throughout the course of the race here this evening. And that is almost a carbon copy of some of the other ones. But, man, what a hell of a save out of the 20 there. I mean, he had that thing all but wrecked as far as the next gen goes, but able to hang on to it, keep it clean. So not out of it by any stretch, but definitely behind on track position after that slot.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And it's like you said, that was an amazing save from the 20 of Cody Anderson, who is actually running a driver cam here this evening. So throw that up.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed in him that he got rid of the beard. If y'all were watching last week, you saw his webcam was up. He had an immaculate beard, and now it's gone. I mean, he's still got the facial fescue going on, but it is definitely gone as far as a long beard goes. But appreciate Cody running the driver cam, giving us a look. It's back out on track. It looks like something actually happened with the 36 of George Jewell. He had a big moment there, and I believe made some pretty significant contact with the outside wall. You can kind of see it on that angle there. Pretty good damage to that right front fender of the 36. Go back and take a look on this instant replay to see what happened with him. And oh yeah, just again, it looked like he was starting to push tight off a corner exit, trying to crank just a little bit more wheel into it to keep it off the wall, and just ends up snapping loose and just overcorrected into the outside wall. But up here in front of him, there is a 4-car battle going on for 8th through 11th. Cody Anderson trying to hang on to it. Sure, his tires are not happy with him after that big slide that he had, but he's got a host of others trying to take that position away from him.
Now, and it's one thing I just remembered, Daniel, these next-gen cars don't like it when you get fully out of the gas. It upsets that rear end a good, decent bit, and that might be part of the reason why we're seeing so many spins here tonight at Pocono, with drivers getting scared of hitting the wall, getting fully out of the gas, and that rear end just coming around on them.
Yeah, that is 100% true. And to be honest, I haven't raced these next gens a ton, But that is one of the things that I learned very, very quickly with these cars is they don't like when you have zero pedal input. So something that some of these drivers might be fighting a little bit, you know, your first instinct is if you start getting tighter, you start getting loose, you want to fully lift out of the throttle to try to settle the car down. But these cars seem to be a little bit backwards in that aspect, that you don't really want to do that. Otherwise, you risk upsetting the car even more. But taking a look here, Jamie Lipke right now, just want to give Jamie a shout out. Really strong run, running there in the top 5. Got their first IndyCar win last night in that series at Milwaukee. So, you know, this is a driver that we see put in a ton of work to try to get better every single week. Always in Discord, always asking for advice, practicing, really paying off here with these races this week for Jamie. The top 5 here this evening. Jamie actually running one of our driver cams as well, but really cool to see Jamie get that win last night in IndyCar and then having another solid run here in the Premier Series for the next gens tonight.
Yeah, I've talked to Jamie off of the track, and they're probably one of the most helpful people on and off the track, not 100% willing to share information with anybody who asks. So definitely a round of applause for Jamie getting that IndyCar win at Milwaukee, like you said, last night for their first IndyCar win.
Yeah, definitely a really strong run, but looking a little bit further up towards the front of the field, though, this battle for the lead has started to close in just a little bit. Just a couple of laps ago, it was over a second between Canova and Gardner. Last lap, it was a 0.4 of a second different between our top 2 drivers. Take a look at the speeds at the line this time. Nearly identical, but caution is out. This is going to reset everything. James Kaufman in the 25, George Jewell in the 36, both involved. See some damage to the right front there for Kaufman. That is going to bring us to a restart inside of 10 laps to go as we take a look at the V-Speed instant replay here. And George Jewell was already fighting that car after the earlier incident that he was involved in. And just going through turn 3 and just slight contact there between the two of them. It looked like maybe George Jewell, I couldn't see who that was behind the two of them there. Looks like that's a 92 of Stubblefield that's behind them there. It looked like George Jewell was trying to maybe give a little bit of room to Stubblefield, thinking that they were a little bit closer or getting a run to the outside there, and just didn't quite drift up as far as maybe Kaufman expected on corner exit, leading to contact between the two. And that is indeed going to put us under another caution here this evening. That's definitely going to reset everything here. Would have to think that we're going to see most of the field come down pit road here. The lap times had fallen off just a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a ton of fall off, but even those that pitted on the last caution, 15 laps into this run, 22 laps for those that elected not to pit under the most recent caution. So going to be interesting to see the mix of strategies that we get here on this one.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case, Daniel. And another thing I want to bring up is we've seen Dylan Canova be really good on the short runs and Jeremy Gardner be good on the long runs. Do you think when we go back green, Dylan Canova's short run will be better than Jeremy Gardner's long run? Because, yes, it's only going to be a handful of laps, but it's still almost a minute to get around this racetrack. Do you think there's going to be enough fall off to have Jeremy Gardner's long run come into play, or?
Yeah, I really feel like at this point you've kind of got what you've got. You've basically got to go out there. I mean, it's only going to be about 4 or 5 laps to go when we do take the green to restart this race. I don't think you can worry about the fall off. We've seen how important clean air is. I kind of feel like you've just got to send it, which is going to make you happy because that's the speed that we know you all drive at. We all know that you drive at send it all the time. You've got 2 speeds, stop and full send. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, but it looks like the entire field is going to elect to come down pit road. The other thing I'm curious to see here, Lucas, with this few of laps remaining, does anybody gamble? Does anybody roll the dice and say, I'm going to take 2 tires on this one?
Do you want what I would do? Or you want
Take 2 tires.
Yeah, I would totally take 2 tires because
I know you would, because I would too.
yeah, it's like if you're gonna come out here and only have a handful of laps left, what's the worst that could happen? I mean,
I can tell you what the worst thing that'll happen is, because it's happened to me before.
It's happened to me as well, but it's like it's part of the fun is because it's totally going to be a challenge for you to hold off all these drivers. And I think Jeremy Gardner, Anderson, and Tyler Justice all did exactly what me and you were thinking, Daniel.
You are 100% correct. Just looking at the time in the box, Gardner, Anderson, and Tyler Justice did indeed all take 2 tires. Dylan Canova in 4th will be the first one on 4 tires. James Silvers in 5th. He also took 2 tires. And then after that, you've got Patrick Drabick on 4, Logan Sturgeon on 2, McElwain on 4, Wilms on 2, and Libke on 4. So literally, through the rest of the top 10, just alternating. One lane is going to have 2 tires, one lane's going to have 4. It is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But while we have a moment under this caution, one more league sponsor that we want to go ahead and shout out and thank, and that is InVets that you see there on that 6 car, Cody McElwain. InVets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They're also the title sponsor of the Sunday Xfinity Series. And InVet's also a big part in the sim rig giveaways that we do as well, as I believe either most of or all of the sim rig recipients have actually gone through InVets as part of that process.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right with that, Daniel. But real quick, before we go green, you see the 57 and the 33, both on the bottom. They're both teammates. And maybe if I'm Jeremy Gardner, I might give your teammate of Tyler Justice a small little countdown to get clear of Cody Anderson, because we don't know if 4 tires is going to be better than 2 tires that about half the field took. So if you have Tyler Justice behind you, trying to slow down the 4 fresh tires, Gardner might have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good point. It's always nice to have a teammate directly behind you, unless that teammate is Lucas Lyons, and then he might just send you to the hot dog stand on the last lap. But then again, that's only if you're the team owner, not a teammate. So
at New Hampshire, we have to. it's a track thing. It's not a everywhere thing. It's just New Hampshire. Just be scared there.
Okay, well, we've seen that happen before. We've seen some teammate on teammate violence before, but generally it is a little bit better to have that teammate behind you as opposed to just somebody else that may be out there racing for themselves. But one thing about it, we're going to get this restart with 5 laps to go, and it is going to be a shootout to the end here at Pocono. Pace car is going to be pulling off fielding control with that 57 of Big Daddy, Jeremy Gardner. We are back under green here at Pocono as we get ready for this shootout to the end of the race. And if there was a countdown between the teammates, they did not time it up very well. Jeremy Gardner with a big jump over the 33 of Tyler Justice. Justice drops back to the 4th position. Dylan Canova actually able to clear. Canova thought about 3 wide to try to get around Cody Anderson. Thinks better of it, slots back in line. And Patrick Drabick now up into the 4th position after that restart. He's also on 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, looking a little further back, you have the 4. James Silver's drifting up. Tyler Johnson's got the run just in time in 26 of Logan Surgeon goes around
for the 26. That is going to bring out another caution here. The 26 just about going airborne after that wreck. He's going to tow that thing back to the garage after that incident. I'm going to cue this up on the V-Speed instant replay here. See Logan Sturgeon down there on the inside as they get ready to go through the tunnel turn. It looked like McElwain just getting a little bit tight there behind Silvers. Gets into him just a little bit, but it looked like maybe, I think there was a little bit of door banging there between the 26 and the 4 on the exit of turn 2. But that's also the same spot that we saw McElwain just get arrow loose earlier.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. You did see a little bit of contact between the 26 and the 4 there, and you see the 4 checking up with getting tight underneath Tyler Justice. There's the contact.
Oh, yeah. I think that was more the contact than the arrow.
Yeah. 100% agree with that there, Daniel.
Yeah, that is going to be a night ender for Logan Sturgeon as well, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. This is going to put us pretty close to, or maybe even in, a green-white checker finish. Talked about that earlier. Lucas, how many attempts we got at that? 3? 2 attempts.
2.
Sorry, 2 attempts.
I had to pull it up to double check.
Yeah, you would think that me being up here leading this thing tonight, that's something that I'd have committed to memory. But here we are. There's your race analysis. We've got 2 attempts at the green-white checker. I think this one is going to end up falling as our first attempt. At the very least, it's going to be a natural green-white checker that we end up having here. But you can see it there. Canova worked his way up into that 3rd position. So interesting choice here for Jeremy Gardner. You're going to have 4 tires behind you no matter what you do, because Canova took 4, Patrick Drabick took 4. So if you're Jeremy Gardner, what do you do here on this restart? Which lane would you rather be in to try to control? And I think if I'm Gardner, I'd almost rather take the inside lane and maybe hope that you could get that 2nd and 3rd place driver side by side to let you scoot out away from them a little bit. But, man, if you're in that 2nd row, if you're Canova or Drabick, you got to be smelling blood in the water right now.
Yeah, they are definitely smelling blood in the water. But, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. If I was Jeremy Gardner, I'd probably take the outside lane, because you saw Dylan Canova take it earlier, and he got a huge run out of turn 1, and he had a huge gap to 2nd place coming out of that turn. It was almost half a second before we even completed a lap since the restart. So that might play into Jeremy Gardner's, what's the word, Daniel? I forgot it. It was on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know what word you were going for. I don't have your word. I was going to say, I don't have your word of the day calendar in front of me, so
I lost that weeks ago.
I'm not sure which way you're trying to fit in. But, here's the other part about it, too. If you're Jeremy Gardner, you restart on that outside, which it looks like he may be leaning that way just with where he's running on the track. You would have Patrick Drabick behind you. And Pat and Jeremy have always had this kind of friendly rivalry thing going on. And if we saw Jeremy Gardner, if he gets a good jump on the outside and Pat's able to follow him through to 2nd, if we see Jeremy Gardner finish in 2nd place yet again, but this time it's to Patrick Drabick, we might end up seeing his sim rig for sale on Facebook Marketplace afterwards. So, that might be going through the back of his mind too.
Yeah, that's definitely a case. And one thing that actually sparked the rivalry was in the truck series here at Pocono was contact between the 2 drivers. And I want to say it was Jeremy that got turned from the lead coming to the checkered flag. And it will look like Jeremy Gardner will take the top with Patrick Drabick behind him.
If we have a replay of that incident, Lucas, they're both going to directly blame you for bringing it up. So, that's
allegedly.
That's going to be interesting to see what happens if we have a replay of that incident. I was in that race too, and I got murdered over in the tunnel turn too. So I try to put that race out of the back of my memory. So thanks for bringing that one up. I appreciate you bringing that one back to the forefront. But as you can see there, lights are off on the pace car. This is going to be a green-white checker overtime finish. So we've got 2 attempts at it. If you don't iRace, you're not familiar with the way that this works, we'll give you a quick rundown of it. We've got 2 tries to make it back to the white flag. On the first attempt, if a caution comes out before we get back to the white flag, we'll line them up, do it again. Second time around, if we get to that second attempt, if a caution comes out on the first lap, field's going to be frozen. That's going to be it. Race is over. Once we get back to the white flag, that's it. We are racing back. iRacing will not throw cautions on the last lap. Excuse me. Unlike real life NASCAR. So maybe they could take a page out of that playbook, but that's a different rant that I'm going to go on a different day. But basically, we're looking to get back to the white flag, and then the race is official. The race for the win will be on from there. And we've got 4 drivers, all 4 of our Dash for Cash eligible drivers restarting in the top 4 here. Couldn't script it any better than that with Cody McElwain lurking just a couple rows back. Pace car is off. Jeremy Gardner is in control of the field. Green flag is out. A good jump for Gardner. And Patrick Drabick there now side by side for second with Cody Anderson trying to find his way through as well.
Yeah, right now, Jeremy Gardner had a 1/10 of a second lead. And Patrick Drabick is already going to look to the inside going to turn 1. Cody Anderson drifts up into Canova in the center of turn 1. I was almost about to say turn 1 and 2, but it's only 3 corners here. Jeremy Gardner snaking to break the draft going into the tunnel turn at the 2/10 of a second lead. And I'm looking at Patrick Drabick's camera. He is grinning right now, trying to run down Jeremy Gardner.
You know he's got to be loving every second of this. Jeremy Gardner actually stretches the lead just a little bit through the tunnel turn, utilizing that clean air. What's going to be interesting to see down this Long Pond front straightaway, can Patrick Drabick utilize the draft to get up to the 57 of Gardner? Our picks for the win, running first and second. White flag. This race is official. Jeremy Gardner, your race leader, tried to get the win here at Pocono this evening, tried to bring home the Dash for Cash, but Patrick Drabick right behind with those fresher tires, as well as Dylan Canova running in the 3rd position. See there again, Gardner snaking back and forth down the straightaway, trying to break any draft that he can. He's got a pretty good lead here as they head through the tunnel turn for the final time. And back onto the short stretch, heading over into turn 3. Little puff of smoke, nothing major though with as far as wall contact goes. Jeremy Gardner through turn number 3 for the final time this evening. Lucas, I'd say our picks are looking pretty good. Yours looking just a little bit better though. Jeremy Gardner is going to come to the line first. He wins here at Pocono and also wins the Dash for Cash.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And I was looking at Patrick Drabick's camera the entire time, and he was grinning until he started pulling away out of turn 2. And Daniel, I think we have officially broken your commentator's curse over here in Goat Locker Racing as well.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, when we made our picks for the win, if somebody would have said that our picks were going to finish first and second, I mean, obviously we're picking them to win, but you know my track record of picking people, so I thought for sure Pat was screwed tonight when I picked him. But great run by these drivers. And then also taking a look at the finishing order, Dylan Canova did come home in that number 3 position after a really strong run for him. But the night belongs to the 57 Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner, breaking that Sheldon Creed-like run that he was on of second place finishes and getting back into victory lane here in the Premier Cup Series. You can see here he's going to take that Save 22 machine and burn it down on the front straightaway. It is his time to celebrate a hard-fought win here at the Tricky Triangle. But while he's out there celebrating, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We will be right back with you with the full race results, as well as interviews from our top 3 finishers. Stick around, we'll be right back with you.
superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to Pocono Raceway here in the Cruisin Classics Next Gen Premier Series with Goat Locker Racing. Going to go ahead and give you your full race finishing results. See where your favorite driver came home here this evening. Jeremy Gardner bringing home the win, bringing home the dash for cash. Shows that he started first and finished first, but the night certainly wasn't just that straightforward and easy for him. But he does come home with the win here this evening. Patrick Drabick coming home in P2. Dylan Canova rounding out the podium. Cody Anderson comes home in the 4th position with James Silvers in 5th. Cody McElwain, a really nice rebound for him after that early spin, early damage. He comes home in the 6th position. Tyler Justice in 7th. Timothy Wilms in 8th. Jacob Lenke, really strong run from 24th on the grid to come home 9th. And Jamie Libke, what could have been a really strong run regardless, spent some time up in the top 5. Jamie comes home in the 10th position here this evening.
And finishing in the 11th position, you have the 92 of Timothy Stubblefield, up 8 spots from where he started in 19th here tonight. And then you had the 15 of Jamie Barkis, which we saw him kind of miss a shift on one of the restarts, which kind of put him behind the 8 ball, but still finished exactly where he qualified. The 75 of Chuck Feltz will finish in the 13th position. The 10 of Corinne Smith will finish 14th. In 15th position, you have the 64 of Matt Knights. And then in the 16th position, the 7 of Charles Abert. The 17th position, the 25 of James Kaufman. And in 18th position, a tough break for Logan Sturgeon in the 26th. We saw that hard contact out of turn 2, which kind of put it into his night there with that contact. And then in 19th position, you have the 36 of George Joel, who also had a hard contact here this evening at Pocono. And rounding our top 20 is the 77 of Tyler Evans.
Rounding out the finishing order, some drivers that ran into trouble early. Ryan Pendleton going to come home in the 21st position. Jake Ellingson in 22nd. Claire Sisk in 23rd. And Bobby Germain rounding out the field in 24th here this evening. But, folks, let's go ahead and get a word from our top 3 finishers. We are going to start off, as soon as I can get it moved up here, we're going to start off with the race winner, Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy, this is your Martinsville buddies, Lucas and Daniel up in the booth. You got us?
Oh, Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, you got Dumb and Dumber up here, and now you're up here, so I guess we're just the 3 Stooges up here in the booth together. Man, really solid run. I did not know how that 2 tires was going to work out for you there at the end. How did you end up holding off the fresher tires on that last 2 restarts?
Fortunately, with these next gens, the 2 tires actually work on them. Really, it's not really depending on the track. About say, I don't know, Charlotte size tracks, 1.5 miles, they work for about 10 laps. I was kind of questioning my decision, but dirty air sucks here, so it's really hard to pass. This track's all about being up in the clean air, so I took a risk for it tonight because, damn, if I got to hear you tell me I'm finishing like Sheldon Creed one more time. So.
Well,
No, that was fun.
Well, you went from finishing like Sheldon Creed in that second position and then hung out with me and Daniel at Martinsville, feeding me French fries and taking Jello shots up in the stands. But it's like you said, clean air played king. But what was the dirty air like? Because we saw you kind of with the pit strategy have to drive through the field, and we saw a bunch of drivers get loose. Excuse me. With the dirty air, do you think it was more of a dirty air thing playing into that, or was it tire temperatures and other stuff?
I mean, honestly, I got my tires up to temp, and it really wasn't even that bad. But as soon as you got a car in front of you, you really couldn't do nothing. You had to really manage the throttle. I was having to, I don't know, I was about half throttle behind somebody, and I was having to trail brake behind them just to get the car to rotate. So it was pretty brutal in traffic. But once you get in clean air, it's like nothing ever happened. So that was kind of the whole point of the two tires, just so I could try to get it up front, because I figured I could hold them off if I got a decent jump. So thankfully I did.
Well, one final question here for you, Jeremy, because not only did you win the race, but you won the Dash for Cash here as well this evening. So is that going to recoup from your Martinsville trip, or what's your plan with the Dash for Cash money?
Nah, like always, I'm gonna give it back to GLR. I don't ever pocket that money. I always give back to a cause. So.
Well, really classy move out of you to give that back to the league, and really strong run here this evening, bringing home the win. And before we let you go this evening, who you want to thank, any sponsors or shout outs?
Yeah, Pat and Jamie and Joe, I appreciate everything they do for us, the veteran community. Lincoln Tech, Safe 22, appreciate them being on the car. Appreciate everything they do for the league. Cruisin Classics and Nasties, appreciate them putting on the series. Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. Of course, y'all guys up in the V-Speed booth. Can't wait to go back and watch this. And my guys at Premier Racing Setups.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win, and we will see you next week at Dover.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
And that's your race winner, Jeremy Gardner. Let's go ahead and get a word now with our second place finisher, Patrick Drabick. Pat, this is Daniel Lucas up in the V-Speed booth. You got us?
I like how you announce it like I don't know who you are, but yeah, I got you, buddy. 10-4.
Well, you know, it's a force of habit from some of these other places that I've been known to, you know, spotlight in here or there.
Are you cheating on me? Did you just say you're cheating on me?
Hey, it's still V-Speed.
Okay,
I just go wherever I'm told. Hey, what can I say? But hey, you know what?
Yep.
I just want to point something out here. Okay. I picked you as my pick to win tonight, and I didn't screw you over. Well, not like the last time at Pocono. I even mentioned that on the broadcast, that this was actually where I picked you and your damn power went out.
Oh, that's
before
priceless.
You even got to take the green. So a little bit of redemption, although I'm a little disappointed that you didn't beat Lucas's pick to win, because he took the low hanging fruit and went with Jeremy Gardner. So, but still a strong run. What did you need to get up there and get around Jeremy for the win?
Well, one, congratulations to him, man. I mean, he ran an exceptional race. You know, with the differing tire strategies, you know, we both got shuffled back a couple times, back to the front, back and forth, and so congratulations to him on a hell of a win. And really, I thought I had what it was going to take there at the end. I saw that him and a few others took 2 tires. I took 4. There was going to be 5 laps left to go, and I figured, you know, in a 5-lap run, those tires would make a difference. But we ended up getting the 2 short runs to the end, and just couldn't make that up. So congratulations to him on that strategy and everything too. But yeah, I just needed a couple more laps for that tire difference to kick in, and I think I might have had something for him.
So
what is happening?
Well, all right. So just so they know, I was.
Are you having a stroke?
No. I had your driver came up and it didn't have my microphone in it, but so yeah. Now I forgot my question. Daniel was talking about how I was taking the low hanging fruit, but it's kind of hard to go against somebody who fed your French fries at Martinsville. and not
What does
show
that have to do with me?
because Daniel was talking about how I picked the low hanging fruit.
What does that have to do with my interview?
Can
I have
get-
no idea
if
where
you
this
can-
interview is going.
I literally think Lucas had a stroke.
I might have, but if you give me a second, I'll get to your question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
we saw you and Jeremy drive through the field, and
Yeah.
we saw a bunch of issues with dirty air. How was the dirty air with your car and behind multiple drivers? And give us a little bit of insight of how your car handled and how you were able to navigate through the field. And you did talk about pit stop strategy a little bit, and just go a little bit more in depth with that. I heard you chuckle, Dave.
All right. Take a couple breaths, Lucas. You're going to be okay. But now, dirty air, this next gen car is very aero sensitive. I think everybody knows that, especially, after the last update, you get the aero grief and things along those lines. And really where I felt it the most, if I was really tight on a car going into the tunnel, that car just wouldn't make the tunnel turn. You had to get out of the gas so much because it got so incredibly tight. In turn one, it wasn't so bad because the car would get pretty loose in one. So being behind another car almost helped it out a little bit. And 3, 4, 17, whatever, you number these, turns here at Pocono. So yeah, I mean, it was really affected it for me in the tunnel. And then, yeah, the tire strategy, that first caution flew, I think within the first couple laps. I think a lot of guys looked at it as a way to get enough fuel to get to the end. So they pit. We got another caution. It kind of flip-flopped the field a couple different times. And it really, tires meant a lot here tonight. I mean, they were getting chewed up pretty quickly. And so I think it just got a little off sequence there in the beginning with everybody, but it all worked out. The guy that was supposed to win won, and I'm just happy to be here finishing in second place, honestly.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever had to mute myself during an interview before from laughing, but here we are with Lucas Lyons and you up here in the booth, and it's I got nothing else for you after that.
All right.
Good run, Pat. Who you want to thank
buddy.
on a second place finish?
Well, you guys do an amazing job, man. It's so fun to come up here and chat with you guys. It's fun to listen to you guys call the race. I give Lucas a ton of crap, but man, he does an excellent job producing these races and everything. But Jam Printing and Promotions, they put together all our gear. Not that I'm really wearing any of it right now. I mean, I got to keep my Willie B stuff on for this weekend coming up. Cruisin Classics, what an amazing partner they've been for years now at this point in time. Them and Nasty's both. You guys up there, V-Speed and Alexander PCs. If you need a PC, I don't know how you don't know this already. Alexander PCs. And Save 22 as well. They're on the side of the car and everything like that. But yeah, I can't thank you guys enough. Can't thank my teammates enough. It was a lot of fun. It's not often I get a chance to race with a bunch of them, but it was a lot of fun being in chat with those guys. And again, congrats to Jeremy on a hell of a win.
All right. Well, again, congrats on the second place. We'll see you next week at Dover.
Hell yeah.
And that's our second place finisher, Patrick Drabick. Let's go ahead and grab a word with our final finisher on the podium, Dylan Canova. This is Daniel Lucas up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, really solid run tonight. I mean, you were up there. You led. I think you actually tied with Jeremy Gardner for most laps led in this race. Of course, the pit cycle there at the end kind of put you behind on track position. With that last pit stop that you made, was there any thought given to taking two tires like a couple of the other guys did, or did you want to try to stay on offense as much as possible?
Part of it is my lack of experience in the next gen. So at most cars I race, if you take two, you're pretty much out to lunch. So it was pretty much 4 all the way, and I was committed to that strategy. And just kind of went with it. And I didn't really know that 2 would work as good as it did in this car. So, live and learn and know that for next week and every race in the future.
Well, we saw you there with that third place run, and I mean, I'll be honest, I thought the 4 tires was the way to go for the end of that race. Do you feel like if we didn't have that last caution in between and it was just 5 laps straight to the end, that you would have been able to maybe get up there and get around them?
Maybe it's hard to pass here if they don't make a mistake, because really for me, I had to get to the outside. So I know Cody kind of moved up there a little bit, and I don't know if I could have done it on the bottom. If I could have got to his right rear and maybe got around Cody, I might have had a shot there at Jeremy, but it would have took everything I had and then probably a little bit more.
Well, still a really solid run. Congrats on the third place podium finish. Before we let you go, who you want to thank for it?
Yeah, you guys for putting on the broadcast, all the fans out there watching, DOR for giving us a place to race, all the admins that manage this. I'm sure it's a lot. Cruisin Classics, Lincoln Tech, Mission 20 or Safe 22, and everybody who makes this possible for the league. And then, everybody back at my team at Revved Up Racing, Victory Fuel, Circle W Farms, Forged by Dennis, and just everybody who gives me the chance to come out here and race every week.
All right. Well, congrats again on the podium. We'll see you next week at Dover.
Thank you. See you then.
And that was our third place finisher, Dylan Canova. And that's going to wrap up our post-race coverage here from Pocono this evening. You see it on the screen there. Next week, it's the regular season finale. We're going to be setting the field for our chase for the championship, our playoffs, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be locking those drivers in to figure out who's going to be racing for a championship next week. Week number 10 at Dover. Same time, same channel, same place that you catch us here every single week. But that is going to do it for our race coverage this evening. So on behalf of Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkis, and everyone at Goat Locker Racing, for Adam Baker and Bradley Cooper at V-Speed, producer and co-commentator tonight, Lucas Lyons. My name's Daniel Cunningham, saying thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you for spending your Wednesday evening with us. We will see you right back here next week at the Monster Mile.